Roussillon, France. The bluff wasn't vertical, however it wasn't remote either. Our instructor was pointing in a slice over the low brush, the pale, broken stone of southern France exposed in jagged steps. From go on, it may be a hard climb in almost any vehicle, but we weren't squared off on the obstacle. Instead, we came advertising online from a tough, right-hand turn, off-camber only to make it interesting. No section of me believed the 2019 Mercedes-Benz G550 would ensure it is not stock. Not using a lift and aggressive tires. Instead, the SUV was unfazed, idling inside the rock and dirt, sending my gut spinning that has a brief lift from the right rear tire when we pivoted. If you were worried which the new class ended up neutered for that new age, don't be. Imagine the curse for being tasked with bringing modernity to your G. The 463 model class has soldiered on without significant revision since 1989, and Mercedes-Benz sold much better than 20,000 units a year ago. This is usually a vehicle containing thrived regardless of change, stalwart both in shape and function while the world around it's got grown hostile to both. Here is an SUV which has a bludgeoning drag coefficient of 0.54. The Ram 1500 manages a svelte 0.36 that consumes premium fuel with abandon. The elements which have rendered the class in dirt titan, narrow width, boxed frame, and solid axles, allow it to become ill-equipped to coddle the posh buyers who favor it. Compared to rivals from Range Rover, the last class drove as it was nearly 3 decades old because with a thin veneer of leather and deep pile carpet, that it was. That's also a part of what's managed to make it so popular. While competitors have constantly worked to generate their towering SUVs think that a sedan, the G has stayed suitably truckish. It has no fascination with pretending to become car. The team behind the all-new class had the unenviable job of raising the vehicle without spoiling the elements which have rendered it one on the marque's signature models. The result is an increased SUV having a touch more civility that hasn't sacrificed all of its capability. That has a new frame, body mounts, and the body, which pulled around 374 pounds in the structure thanks partly to an aluminum hood, fenders, and doors. Even so, Mercedes says the structure is 55% stiffer than the prior version. It's also 2.5 inches wider and 2 inches longer, delivering more interior room than before. There's now a practical center console in the beginning, and rear passengers don't wind up rubbing knees because of their neighbors. The extra width also allowed engineers to match legitimate climate controls for the back seats. That cabin now looks wanted belongs from the upper echelon in the Mercedes-Benz lineup, which has a completely revised dash. The optional, high-resolution instrument cluster is gorgeous, out of the box the massive 12.3-inch central display. The latter still isn't touchscreen, but is not hard enough to navigate over the console-mounted touchpad and rotary selector. More importantly, the class is quieter than before. An acoustic windshield and side glass, extensive sound deadening, and double door seals perform a better job of keeping noise away. That's not to imply the new G is silent. There's reasons modern vehicles look so round and generic. Every sharp or vertical edge, every protrusion is really a chance for wind to sing and whistle. While the 2019 class is now offering a slightly softer exterior design, still retains many on the harsh characteristics of the predecessors, including those protruding, fender-mounted turning indicators along with the vehicle-length body protector strip. The door handles are even carryovers from the last model. Combine all that has a steeply raked windscreen, and there's more racket than you'd expect at a freshly designed vehicle. Still, we don't care. It's an excellent reminder that it is still a G. The biggest change is often a new independent front suspension. Abandoning the old stick axle was the main element to modernizing the class, allowing engineers to make use of an electromechanical rack and pinion steering system. It also opened the door towards the complete suite of Mercedes-Benz driving aids, including parking assist, and lets the engine sit lower inside the passenger compartment to get a better center of gravity, to fulfill pedestrian safety criteria, and improve crash ratings. More importantly, the modification civilized the G's driving dynamics. It's strange how familiar the 2019 G550 feels from in the driver's seat. The doors still call for a certain amount of force, shutting while using satisfying and solid sound of metal on metal. The locks are a carryover, plus they still snap in place while using sharp punctuation of the rifle bolt. You can hear the clatter from across a parking zone. The end pillars are thicker, generating of high-strength steel to fulfill federal rollover standards, though the former are cleverly started up edge to keep up the model's traditional visibility. At Daft, are you unclear about what you're driving? When the path inevitably turns to something in addition to a straight line, the 2019 G550 actually behaves itself. The catastrophic understeer and the body roll on the previous generation hasn't vanished, however it takes somewhat more speed to locate it. For most buyers, it will think that sliding in the driver's seat of a Tahoe, whereas the last generation was more comparable to coaxing a wheelbarrow brimming with tow-heavy crates down a hallway. Power still comes from your same twin-turbocharged 4.0-liter V8 as this past year, with 416 horsepower and 450 lb-ft of torque. But none of that would be worth a damn when the SUV didn't live up on the G's reputation to be a mechanical force of nature. Mercedes admits that your very small percentage of class buyers is ever going to use the full extent in their machine's off-road ability. But really, that's just like any other high-performance vehicle. How many C63 sedans will see a track in life? How many Wrangler Rubicons goes bashing up a trail? The company can have very easily abandoned the machine's 3 locking differentials, body-on-frame construction, and slab-sided looks and only something more aligned with all the vehicle's actual use case. It would have already been a sin. There's more ground clearance than before, now 9.5 inches, and also the combination from the new 9-speed automatic transmission plus a transfer case having a 2.93-to-1 low range, previously 2.1-to-1, means the revolutionary G can inch its way over whatever is within its way. The torque converter was set up specifically to the class. While some vehicles provide a hill hold function that uses a sensor along with the parking brake, the converter can take this SUV on nearly any incline without assistance on the brake for up with an hour. It's a straightforward system which utilizes all 4 wheels to keep up grip. Likewise, there is absolutely no hill descent control system with the class. It doesn't require it. In manual mode with low range and first gear engaged, we inched down 30% grades without much as looking on the brake. We spent hours scrambling within the ridges around us, crawling up near vertical, loose-footed ledges and wading through headlight-deep water, chasing a row of windmills for their perch overlooking the Mediterranean. This was not some manicured trail. It was an accumulation unforgiving, nerve-peaking scrambles, and at Daft was the brand new G550 beyond sorts. Whether lifting a wheel, or 2, or lunging up difficult grades, your truck just kept going despite everything around it, as similar as it has. The same as it can for years to come. 2019 Mercedes-Benz G550 specifications. Late 2018. Price: $128,000 base estate. Engine: 4.0 liters twin-turbo 32-valve V8 416 HP at 5,250 to 5,500 revolutions per minute, 450 lb-ft at 2,250 to 4,750 revolutions per minute. Transmission: 9-speed automatic. Layout: 4-door, 5-passenger, front engine, 4WD SUV. EPA mileage: 1,517 miles per gallon. City Hui State. LXWXH: 189.7 by 85.7 by 77.2 I. Wheelbase: 106.2 inches. Weight: 6,700 pounds. Estate: 060 miles per hour, 5.8 seconds. Estate. Top speed: 130 miles per hour.